Tim, are you taking that seat, Tim, or no?
What do you want me to take? You tell me.
You take the main one. Yeah. You can have some fun with controlling the deck.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to finish these coffees, but what I'm thinking, so what I'll do is record it. So we're recording on some of the cameras, not all of them. Okay. We had an issue with one. This one's dead, so we're doing these two. I got one going this way, one going that way. Okay. And I'm just going to give Tim the file. He can do it as a live, but not live, just say, record or something. Because you guys might be live doing something else, so I don't want to lie about it. So I'll let you sit here. Okay. That way you're there, and then your coffee will be done.
Test. All right.
Here, one you got, actually put Schnur. We'll have to put 3 guys there, sorry. Okay, straight. So, push this one closer. One of you guys can sit next to that.
I'll sit at the very end so that I can give me the there.
Schnur can sit over there. Here we go. Alright, so this is going to be the extra this way. Yep. This will be yours.
You're not going
that
live,
one will
right?
be yours. We're not live.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
You take a couple pictures of it.
Can you move that up just a tad?
Which one?
That one. It's a little too low.
Yeah, I had a bad angle.
Great setup here, guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Good. Down. Just get the top of my head. That's all.
Huge honor and privilege to be here. It's great.
Yeah, you guys. Is this thing gonna? Oh, we're working. Yeah, I love these headsets.
Down.
So good. These are the best headsets. Yours is right there. Now the key to
Tighten
this.
it up, Chris.
The key to this is when you have to scratch your face, your beard. Just be cautious of it, because you'll want to go like this, because it's real. They're real good. Or if you're drinking. And then, your coffee's there. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
I just put that over there for you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to control that other monitor? I'll take that. You want to give me that keyboard?
How about right there, Tim? I can't.
Yeah, that's good. No, it's not going to fit. You're good.
It's really confusing with the keyboards and the computers. We have so much crap. What happened was we had a guy who was doing all the broadcasting for us, and it was my nephew, but he ended up getting a job at Lowe's or something.
They
so
always
he had to
end
leave.
up getting jobs.
So we had to add this, and now he can control the laptop with that. So it's actually pretty badass. Like he can just go
I like
over
this
with it.
Controlled chaos. It feels good.
It's nuts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's stuff everywhere.
Test. Yep.
I got a new backdrop I got to throw up for a minute. You got to turn that zoom on, Tim.
It's already on. We're good.
Are you sure?
I am.
Do I need to double check?
No. I know you want to.
I want to so
I
bad.
know you want
You have
to.
no idea. I'm so.
I mean,
anal
all
about this
zeros
stuff.
is good, right? That's what we want.
So that's crazy. We did the podcast, and before that, we've always had like Tesla. Tesla's always done real well for us, like showing the new products and everything.
Yeah.
But once we did this podcast, like we got all these sponsors, like so easily. Like it was unbelievable. Like I'm like, what's going on? Like all of a sudden they're like calling us and like, hey, how do we sponsor the podcast? How do we get? So I think we're onto something different because I think BowhunterPlanet always had that niche, but we just never took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And then when I told these guys, let's do it, they're like, But I'm not like a half-ass kind of guy. Like if I do it, I do it. So like
No,
all this stuff.
Well, let's
I have to
rephrase
buy
that.
all this stuff.
When he does it, he likes to spend a lot of
I
money.
love.
Hey, that we have in common right here, man.
He does that in spades.
It's like my favorite thing. Like,
Yeah.
Can we go around and just do a quick mic check though, just to make sure?
Yep.
Just
Check
test.
1 2. Test.
Good.
Test.
Test.
Good.
Check. Testing 1 2
Good.
3.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
and you're recording. Are you sure you're recording?
It says zeros.
Don't make me look. Don't make me get up and look.
Then don't look.
Don't do it. It's just so heartbreaking.
He's
if it
not in
doesn't
his
work.
chair. It's killing him right
It is.
now.
That's the control chair.
It's a
Like
little
that.
shadow
water.
a little bit out of your,
That
out of
seat.
your comfort zone.
He's trying to check every
Nah,
reflection.
Tim's
in the
got
room
it.
to
I
see if he
trust
can see
him.
it.
I don't trust him.
That's why you. That's why you have the mouse, right?
No, this is for this one. That's all it is. All right. Anyway, I'll let you intro it if you want, or you got this. You want me to do it?
No, go ahead.
All right. All right. So I'm trying to think how I want to do this. So I want to look at the camera. Which camera you have on?
I'm gonna be on you.
All right. Hello, and welcome to the BowhunterPlanet.com podcast. Myself, Dave Thomas, along with Tim Mazzarana. And we got some really special guests today, John, Decota, and Bailey.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Sir.
Just make sure
You
I
got
got
it.
right.
You got it.
From the Outdoor Chef. So very exciting to have you guys here. Thank you for stopping in on your way to some sweet hunting with the Bowtech guys, I assume.
Yeah, Bowtech and XCal.
Nice.
And it's so good. The boys and I were just saying as we're rolling in what a great honor it is to be here. You know, you guys got quite a roll going. It's we're loving the conversation, loving the subject matter,
Good.
and it's good for outdoors, man.
Thank
we
you.
love
No,
it.
we appreciate
Yeah.
that. That's one thing that really kind of strive for is just that honesty in conversation. conversations. So
Yeah,
we'll try and keep it real for you guys.
All right.
I won't argue with Tim too much tonight.
Come on, that's what we came.
No
for.
booze
See,
out here.
here's the
That's
good
for
part.
sure.
The good part is you can't reach across a table.
I
and
know.
slap.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm going to
It's
throw
good.
water.
He can still kick you under the table, though.
We'll try and poke the bear a little bit. Throw
Yeah,
some,
that's right.
Throw some nice top.
So,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. So, I mean, so where you guys, I guess let's start with this before we get into like what you guys do and all that. Where are you coming from? Where are you headed?
So we are coming from North Shore Lake Erie in Canada, in Ontario, and we are headed out. We've been talking about this for years. The American Wild Turkey Grand Slam. It feels so good to finally say it. I just love it. So we are headed, first of all, to West Virginia, and then Kansas and Colorado, and then we're going to circle back to Florida.
Back to Florida.
Yeah,
That's
to
exciting.
nail those birds I missed a few weeks ago.
That is really exciting. I actually got a call from Tim. He said, come on over to West Virginia this weekend. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could go. I wanted to go so bad, but the problem is for me is if I take like, I have a real job, so if I take vacation time, I have to really think about this, right? I'm like,
You have to plan.
the thing about it is to go there and like hang out with you guys and everything would be awesome, like absolutely amazing. Especially Tim, I haven't got a chance to hunt with Tim. But like at the same time, I'm like, what am I going to be able to get done? And am I going to get enough? Everybody's just going to mess around because you know hunt camps are a little different. Yeah, but in this case, there's more business people there. I think that would videotape and do more stuff that
And Dave,
would
let me
know.
tell you, hunting with Dave, it is all business.
It's
I
all.
don't listen,
Don't doubt that.
it's not for me. It's for the greater good. Okay?
Yes, that's right.
If
Yeah.
it was for me,
Our fans appreciate you.
they do because if it wasn't for me, no one would film anything. I just know.
It's hard to get in that rhythm. I
It's
mean,
very hard.
you know, you want to. A lot of times, you're in the moment. You want to really enjoy it.
Yep.
I mean, we found we're working from basically a schedule now, and we forced ourselves to because the content is so good, and it's a lot of times you'll get finished something. You're
Yep.
like, man, we
Yeah.
needed to show
We should
that.
have showed that.
So then what we've done is these wild to table road trips, they are for us where it's at because it's the live hunting and then the live recovery, which for me as a new hunter is almost as exciting as the hunt because you're walking up on whatever it is you just
Everything,
found.
and for us, because we're new hunters, everything's new.
Brand new.
Almost
awesome.
everything that we walk up on is the first time ever.
Brand new. So it's like your 2-year-old,
That's so cool.
steps goes up the steps.
Tim's newer at hunting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got,
not
about
that
5
far
years
away.
in?
5 years in?
No, a little
no,
more.
Six,
BHB.
yeah, 6, 7.
Since 09.
The first, okay, so first of all, it's a little bit, it's probably 6 or 7, but the first 2 years, they were like, oh yeah, you want to come hunting, and they would like literally go.
He
20
owns a
minutes
website.
before.
He always been an owner of
And
this
they would
website.
throw it a ground blind somewhere and be like, dude, this is a great spot. And I would never see anything for like 2 years.
Yeah. Look at this.
Something with him.
Conspiracy. That's
It
awful.
was so funny. That was
That's
like
it.
the
So
best
are you guys
highlight.
self-filming?
Self-filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're shooting.
Do you guys
every-
film each other or film yourselves?
We do. So we rotate.
Yeah, we
Nice.
rotate.
Yeah.
Whenever we got hunters and the other guys are on the cameras, and we just rotate all kind of.
And do you find yourself using the crossbow or the compound more?
Whatever we fancy.
We shake it up quite a bit
shake it
between
up,
person to person.
50-50.
Which compound?
I shoot the Bowtech Realm.
The Realm?
Yep,
Yeah.
Realm.
BTX.
BTX? Great
Yeah.
bow. Love that bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Realm more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
BTX was my favorite.
And
before
I have a realm as well, and we're also shooting Diamond and then the Excalibur Assassin. So
Yep.
one of the things for me. So as a professional chef, we always talk about tools, right?
Yep.
So and kind of to your point about always when you do something, doing it as you said right, or
Yeah.
spending a lot of money.
Yep.
You want to it's just very very cool to see how the disciplines influence your hunt, and then how it can change the enjoyment. So
Yep.
it's
And to learn those things over time. I remember the first hunts we ever went on, just the mistakes you learned in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
sit, even
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you don't see anything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, why didn't I?
well, the first time that I learned and understood what a deer jumping a string meant, right?
The first deer you ever
the
shot.
very first deer I ever shot. I never forgot it. I
Yeah.
never forgot it.
No,
Never will.
And that's what's really important about what we're doing with the lives is, there's no going back. Everything's live,
Yep.
everything's happening. And I mean, there's no mulligans in the real world either.
Yeah.
So I mean, you see everything, you see it in real time, you see how it's happening, when it's happening. and
Yeah, oh, for sure.
All the
Speaking
ups
of
and
that,
the downs.
That's a really hard arena to live in though, that live world.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
We dabble in it, every week and stuff like that. But there's not a lot of room. Like it really shows off who you are.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's no go backs.
Yeah.
It's what's said is said, and that's that.
So about you guys, I guess let's get into that real quick and
Okay.
have some fun with this. So
Yep.
theoutdoorchef.com. outdoors chef. Make sure you put the S in there. I made that mistake earlier.
Yeah. No, and you know how we got to
Outdoors
that.
chef.
You don't go outdoor, right?
You go
You go outdoors, right?
No,
That's, so that's why we're like, right?
done right.
We sat there in the
I love
office
it.
talking about the one day. We're
For
like, you
2
don't go
days, we're like,
outdoors.
is it outdoor?
You go
Outdoors. Outdoor. It is the outdoors, chef.
So let's clear this up first. So you guys are all chefs?
Yes.
We are. So I'm professional chef, Decota professional chef, and Bailey
I'm the
is
prodigy.
He's a prodigy. Bailey's actually been training to be a police officer
Cool.
as well.
very
So
cool.
I've been in school. I missed the last hunt because I was in school. I was pretty sad about that. I was watching all their live hunts when I was sitting to my psych teacher, and I was like, I don't want to be here right now.
No doubt.
This happens a lot here too.
Yeah.
We'll be at work and all of a sudden I turn on the thing and someone's live in the field. You're like, oh god. Even you guys like, man, I wish I was out
oh,
there.
that's so good.
In the air.
Yeah.
And like the worst part is like I'm sitting there in class. I'm trying to get a shout out from these guys. I'm commenting like, "Hey, I wish I was with you." Nothing.
They're just like, you fell off the planet.
They didn't
think
think
about
about
me
His
once.
brother's like this. His brother's like this. He's like, look, Bailey's in class.
I knew he was. You guys didn't think about me once. I knew it.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, we
that's
did.
great.
Oh.
That is
But yeah,
awesome.
professional chef, so
Yep.
classically trained. And so the interesting thing is, did mainstream culinary for about a decade.
Nice.
All kinds of TV, all kinds of opportunities to teach.
Yeah, yeah.
But then this kid, he's bugs and bugs and bugs me until, we go and get our take a hunting course. Okay, so and then what kind of happened after that was lightning in a bottle because I recognized that hunting was so much more than just about killing an animal. That it was about hunters, the voice in the outdoors. It was about conservation,
And a way of life.
preserving our heritage.
Yep.
And then the biggest thing is I felt like an incredible hypocrite as a chef, never having killed anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I've
That was a
did
big
some
part of it.
butchery, but come on. It
Yeah.
was just ridiculous.
There's a
it's
difference
different,
between
yeah.
butchery and field dressing.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah,
Big
plus you
difference.
can see it, and
Yeah.
like when you're cutting it, doing the cuts and everything like that, it seems like it makes more sense. I guess if you're a chef, that makes more sense to me seeing it from, Now, let me ask you this. So, like for a deer, if you shoot a deer, let's just throw some numbers out so you guys have a feel for what I'm talking about. Let's say we're in late October. It's like, I don't know, 55, 65 degrees out. You shoot a deer. Before you should have it processed, how long would you let the meat sit or hang, I guess would be the best question.
The easiest answer there is, and it really matters the age of the animal. That's the very first thing, because I can tell you right now that at a young buck or a young doe is butter all day long. I mean, there is no need to hang, no need
So
to
basically,
rest.
any deer Tim gets, we're good.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna mute myself here.
Yeah.
That way you guys don't hear what
The ones
might
from
come
the
out
interstate.
of my mouth.
How many from the interstate?
I mean, the first deer I ever shot was just like a 1-year-old buck, just a spike. And let me tell you, that thing was butter. From the roast to the tenderloin,
Yeah.
the entire thing was
And
butter.
There's
And
one more
the neck
buck than
roast.
I've
You gotta
got.
make sure to tell them about the neck
Yeah,
roast.
we got to talk neck roast. Absolutely, neck roast.
Oh,
yeah,
neck roast.
But to back
Really?
to your question, let me tell you about a neck roast, man. But so that's where the classic French techniques come in. So when you say you have a young deer, you have a young whitetail, you can talk about quick cooking methods, things that don't take a long time. You don't need a lot of marinade. You don't have to add a lot of flavor.
Yep.
But as they get older, as they get more highly developed muscles, then you're talking about different, maybe longer cooking techniques. Braising, you brought up the neck. So everybody we talked to, they just didn't do anything except
Nothing with the
strip
neck.
some of the meat off the neck.
Grind it.
We did a neck roast on a really nice deer. We braised it. We've got the recipe. It's in the lives, but. And we braised it, and that was like pulled pork.
Took the
Really?
bones
It was
off,
the most
chopped it
spectacular
right off.
thing.
So
best yet.
You take the head, you cut the head, you cut the neck at the base, and you have
Yep.
this big piece of meat. You take the skin off,
Yes.
and then you cut it like this, or you don't cut it at all.
Don't
No,
cut
you
it
don't
off.
cut it at
Drop
all.
it in a
Gonna
pot.
take it off whole.
Yep.
Yeah, and so the thing about braising is
Do you have to like gut it though? Like, I mean, like take this part out and stuff.
No,
or
no.
So here's the beautiful thing about braising. As you braise, if you think about the way that the bone shrinks off chicken, it's the same thing with the neck. So as it shrinks away from things like the esophagus and any of the really heavy connective
Interesting.
tissue, and it literally, like with a fork, just pulls
It's
off.
like exactly like pulled pork.
Yes,
Like it just
exactly.
peels off the texture. Everything is
I don't like
exactly
this.
like
I don't
pulled
like this
pork.
podcast anymore.
No,
I'm
we
getting
shouldn't. And
hungry.
first of all, we
I was
shouldn't have
thinking
done
the
it.
same
We shouldn't
thing.
have done it around dinner time.
Especially,
No,
This does
no.
not help.
especially when Kevin's not here. So otherwise, it'd be like, Kevin, go get some steaks. Let's see what these guys
And
can do.
For
Yeah.
me, the most interesting part about the neck roast is like you think about the amount of ground beef you'd get off of a neck roast, and it wouldn't be that much. But we did that neck roast,
Yeah.
and we ate for 4 days
Yeah.
off of it
That's
out of the
awesome.
fridge.
Which tons.
And like big meals, like full plates.
Nice. That goes back to that
Sandwiches.
narrative of wild to table and really understanding how to maximize each
for sure.
one of the species, no matter what they are. We're just looking at wild turkey right now, and one of the things I hear a lot about is about the legs being too tough. So it's the same thing again. So you have this rapid assessment process as a chef. What is it? What is its age? And then you know, like for example, we just did a turkey breast recipe. Obviously, the breast is very nice, very easy to cook, and not very tough. But then you get to that leg, and you want to think about either braising, smoking to break down that tissue. And this is the thing that's been lighting us up is how much opportunity there is with this.
Well, it's more fun understanding it from kind of its origins. You know, when you receive meat in a restaurant, it's already either been aged or it's butchered for you and all kinds of that. So it's not as fun to cook that stuff. When you start to learn this stuff that's in the wild, you get to learn these things. Like with the legs, like we thought, we're like, oh no, the thigh will be good. The thigh was like just as butter, just like as much as butter as the breast is. And when you talk about things like hanging deer and that, what actually starts to happen is it's like a form of decay.
Yeah,
starts to happen, and that's why
absolutely.
why aging meat is important. You're developing flavor.
Also, talking about the origins, I also understand from the turkeys running away from me a lot why those legs are so tough. Now I know why.
It's got
like,
all that
okay.
adrenaline built.
That's right. So somehow it makes it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are fast.
So let me ask you: you guys are doing some traveling over the next weeks, and obviously going to be doing some good cooking.
Yeah.
What are you guys traveling with? Like, what have you brought any special equipment with you?
Well, you know, we've
Depends.
got. Yeah,
Which
let's
trip
go.
are you talking about? The last one or this one?
Yeah. Last one we had like the magic school bus behind us. It was brutal. I couldn't believe how much stuff. But we tried to break it down to make it as close to what maybe just like your average Joe.
Just like a full
or your average Joe. So we have this awesome Carhartt thing that's like a tube cooler for beer.
Okay.
And we've replaced it with spices. So we have a kind of a classic kind of some spices that we would use. Then we're always using I just got a field report from Jeremy Starks down there. He's got morels and he's got ramps. So we're talking not only about ingredients you can buy, but also, you know, like we have a saying, you know, whatever eats and runs together, it tastes together. Good together.
There's,
you know what
That's
I mean?
great.
There's some downsides of going on vacations with the chef. The guy, he takes the place where we keep all the beer and he tries to put spices in it. And we're like, come on.
Where's the
He's
cooler?
He's like, no, I need the star anise over the beer. Like, whatever. We don't even know what star anise is. Keep it to yourself.
Oh my gosh,
awesome.
that's too funny. That's great.
Yeah, talk about morels, man. That's about that time here.
It is.
We're
It's
just
getting there. I
about,
think a couple more warmer days, and they'll really be hitting.
Yeah.
There's some reports of some smaller ones.
I'm about 2
out
weeks
there.
out.
Yep.
Well, it's funny you brought up the Excalibur because we just finished the video before you guys got here, literally 10 minutes
Of the
before.
assassin.
The assassin. And that's what I'll be hunting with coming up with my son. And it's great because I'll take him. He's 9 years old. The thing can adjust to him. And then, hey, guess what? Oh, I can put it right back to me, right? When I'm
Daddy
sitting
wants
with
to
him.
get a turkey too.
Step aside, boy. No, but he's already shot 2 deer in the last couple of years. I mean, it's been amazing, to be honest. Anyway, during that process, though, crossbows have been, like, in my opinion, you know, not in Chris's opinion. We'll keep Chris out of this conversation. But crossbows, to me, for children, getting kids outdoors have been a huge, huge win because now my son wants to go. He can't pull a bow. There's no way. You know, we've tried everything. We tried the diamonds. We tried. He can pull it. He's just not enough weight to kill an animal. But I was surprised to see his reactions when he took the animal, how excited he was. He tracked it himself. I pre-tracked it, but he didn't know that. Just to make sure. And I gave him, where do you see the blood?
Well done, son.
Good job, son.
Oh my gosh,
He still does that with me.
Look at that. But it was awesome. But it was a good experience. But anyway, so we'll be in there. We'll have that ability to adjust it, you know. And if I can get a couple of good days of hunting, I think we'll kill a couple birds because it's in Michigan. It's pretty easy. I mean, they come around a lot. These birds aren't like, I wouldn't call it hard by any means, but if they're responding, usually if they're responding, you'll get one. If they're not, hit or miss.
The one thing I like about the crossbow in particular is it's about building confidence. It's pure joy and it's great fun. But especially for new hunters in particular, it is a confidence builder because it takes some of the things that are variables out of the equation. And it allows you to focus on some of the principles. So if you're hunting whitetail or turkey, you can focus on things like there's a lot of things going on. You got calling, you have to be deadly still, you know, wherever whatever you're doing, all that mechanism. And then for me, I'll be perfectly honest with you. When that Osceola walked up on us down in Florida,
he was shaking like a leaf. leaf.
I was shaking like a leaf.
He's like
Dakota's looking at me. He's like, breathe, breathe, and I'm like this, and so I can totally relate, and so in that moment, that's something, there's so many things when you're hunting. That's one of those things,
sure.
and we're coming from the point of view like nobody really in our family hunted, so we're figuring this stuff out, line upon
that's
line.
Part of that is absolutely part of the fun, though.
It's fun.
Oh, trust me,
So
it
much
is
fun.
pure joy.
Especially if you got a little bit of room to break stuff.
Exactly.
I think it's like that concept. It's not it's not getting to the top of the hill. It's a journey in between to get there.
Yeah.
But my thing is, for me, like that's been one of my favorite parts. Is I've never killed like a 170 or anything big, but that lets my journey be longer. Like I just keep doing this every year.
That's why I'm just what. I'll wait for a bigger buck.
That's what I'm saying. These guys, they go out and shoot these huge monsters, and I get it, but like then you have a challenge. You have to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets ridiculous.
Well,
but,
then you have the difference between public land hunts and hunting with an.
That's a whole nother fun realm.
So we've really had the ability. So we just got done a hunt down in Florida doing the hogs, and so here you have a guy who's been doing this for 32 years.
Oh yeah,
and you draw on all of his knowledge and all his experience and every single thing. And if you submit yourself to that experience, and there's 10,000 of these guys out there, and you just shut up long enough to listen to what they're saying, what did we come away with?
Oh, we came away with, and it wasn't just that. It was there was the passion. Like I know when I came back, his love. You think about, a lot of people think of hunters as like they just want to go out and kill stuff, right? But they love animals. His passion for taking care of the animals and his property and, grooming this. I came back, I went back to my farm, and I started putting some stuff out, putting trail cams out, watching the deer, watching the turkeys, and it's just...
What are you talking about? You had the lawnmower and the blow road. He's cleaning pathways for his whitetail.
Hey, it worked. And
I done that.
But I think
did.
that goes towards the mentality of that sustainability mentality.
Exactly.
Right? Growing the herd to be what it can become.
Exactly. So you really have a management thing, and then for us too, like for me, the conservation story. Like with, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in Canada, the turkeys were completely extinct,
1908,
gone.
Wow.
So we actually, it started just about an hour from where we live. We borrowed about 350 turkeys from you guys. So we got turkeys from, I think, 6 different states. We traded for some moose. We sent you some moose and some
black bear maybe.
A few things.
There was a few things.
So we should do that trade again.
Exactly.
Drop some elk like in here.
Right in here.
Moose right here in these
Cool. Like,
Don't move them.
Exactly. So then you have with just these 350 or so turkeys. Now we driving here. We saw. Well, last night. we saw 50 strutters. We counted them.
Unbelievable.
50. It was crazy.
What's killing them in Canada? The wolves or
no? It was they were
booming
hunted
now.
to extinction.
No, they're over. They're hunted to
I
extinction.
find that very hard to believe in the sense that I've hunted in Canada and I've never hunted a more thick terrain that's been like. I mean, I bear hunted there.
I mean,
oh my God, we drove 30 miles just to get to the one site, and that's not even just it's all Queenland they call it, and I don't know. You guys are from
Crown
Canada.
Land.
Crown Land. That's right. Yep.
And we were in Winnie Pooville, wherever that is.
Winnie Pooville?
White.
Are you making that up, or is
No,
that
no,
a real
no.
place?
what's on that
was it
screen?
White River?
White River. It's where Winnie the Pooh was born. They got
okay.
writers from there.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there bear hunting. They got this Winnie the Pooh festival. I'm like, what is going on here?
You had fun there. I could
It
tell.
was weird, but then First off, I love Canadians.
But it was all work. Let me assure you.
I've
I don't need
never
a black bear.
I've never met a Canadian I didn't like. But this is the thing. All the Canadians, they were like, you come here, eh? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you going to shoot the bear? I said, yeah, I'd like to. And he's like, shoot 3, shoot 4. I'm like, I can't. I think I can only legally take 1. They're like, just call someone, get another one. They're in my garbage. They're in my.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing where you guys were hunting the population of bear to people.
It's unbelievable.
There was more bear.
We're in the camp. They're coming in the camp. We're eating lunch, and they're in the dumpster running away. I've never seen so many bear in my
Until you
life.
actually get in the blind, and then they're nowhere to be
I got
found.
one. No, they're okay.
And those are the dangerous ones.
But I shot a small one. There was ton. I mean, the spot I shot my bear, and another guy shot a bear the next night. Same bait pile. I mean, they just come rocking in. It's so funny.
He says that in hindsight like he knew it was.
I just threw it out there. I just want to make sure everybody knows my bear was about this big.
At the time, it was like this great,
Dude.
this great fishing story.
It was.
right?
I was like, it was the scariest thing I've ever done. I've never bear hunted before, and I didn't realize that it's not that bad. Like they're not. I didn't know. So no one really told me a lot. And
Yeah.
I get in the blind, and it's, it's pretty hot out. It's in August, I think. And we're sitting there, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, and they let me in. There's no phones, nothing works, no radios, no walkie-talkies, nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and this is not normal. I mean, we hunt like flat land here. I can use a walkie-talkie 50 miles away here. It's different. You can always communicate.
Yep.
So now you feel like you're really on your own, and so it's a little different because I had this. You're not allowed to carry a gun if you're an American there, so I had to use this bear mace, right? So I got this bear mace, but no one told me like. I'm watching Outdoor Channel like a month later, and the guy's like, "Get out of here, bear!" and he's throwing water at it, and he just runs. I'm like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
I'm sitting here freaking out. First thing I see, I'm not joking. I'm sitting there. First thing I see is this. I look up and I see this black thing. I didn't hear nothing.
Yep.
I see this black thing. It's standing there looking at me right at the edge of where the entrance to the circle area where they cut out. It's like this. It's this drool just pouring down. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god! You grab this bow, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, shaking,
Yeah,
just
I've
like
been
this.
there. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it like comes in and it goes around the barrel, knocks it over. First thing it does, knock over the ring, where you like judge the size. And I'm like, oh, it's too small, and it knocks it over, goes inside the barrel. Fully inside the barrel. And I'm like,
He should have known when it went in the barrel.
You said it. I wasn't going to say anything.
it's not the bear I shot, guys. not the bear I shot.
Okay.
Supposedly.
So it goes in the barrel. And I remember thinking, what if I came up over the top of this hill? This thing's fully in the barrel. I would never know there's a bear in the barrel.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and it.
Because, first thing you would do is try and put the barrel back up.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, I did hear you. Believe me, these things are like unbelievable. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'm not shooting it. It's too small. All of a sudden, it comes out of the barrel. It's sitting on its butt, itching its legs. The weirdest thing, like this, just sitting there like this, itching its legs. I'm like, what the heck is happening? Then all of a sudden, it did the weirdest thing. And it creeped me out. And it reminded me of my dog. I have a beagle. It reminded me of my dog. It stopped. Looked at my GoPro. I had GoPros all the way around on every tree. I had like 6 of them out there. It was bad bones, man. I had a remote control. I could turn them all on.
Nice.
It looks right at the GoPro, and it stands up, walks over, starts sniffing the GoPro. Like it got on the thing. It's going licking it and stuff.
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
in the video.
Smelling Dave.
Drops down,
Yeah.
follows my walking path all the
To
way
your
to my
tree.
tree. Direct line. Goes to my tree,
wow.
puts a claw on my
Wow.
tree, and looks up at me. And I'm like,
Oh no.
oh, God. Now I'm really scared. I can't get my bow as a wood rail. I can't get my bow over it, so I take the mace and I hold it like this. And I'm going like this. I'm like, don't you do it. And I'm saying that to him. Don't you do it. It didn't run. I'm like, oh, no. I'm going to have to spray it, and it's windy. I'm thinking it's going to go in my face. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. And so then finally he decides he's going to check off whatever. He walks out in front of me, looks at me, gives me the stink eye, walks over, starts eating again. And I'm sitting there like, this is crazy. Who signed me up for this? This is a bad idea. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear, I hear all this noise. I'm like, what the heck's happening now? And you see this black blob come running through the woods, charging. This one takes off running. And the first thing they told me, if a bear comes in and scares the other bear, it's usually a big bear.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
This bear
it's
comes
on.
in. It's going
Let's
like
go,
this.
Ted. Yeah.
And I have the videos online. It's going like this. It's doing this stuff. And I'm like, oh, man. It's a stud, I don't know anything. I'm like, look like this. I'm like, ooh, zip it. It's right through the heart. It takes off, drops. It's. I'm like, oh my God. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I did it. That was easy. And I couldn't believe it. And then all of a sudden, the other bear comes back.
Yeah.
And it goes over there. It's growling. It's like it must be like biting it or something. And it comes back and starts eating again. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't want to stay here when it's dark. Like I can be able to see it. So I kept leaving and coming back, the one time it left, I got down and I backed out and I got to the trail, right? It's a lumber trail. So I'm on this 1-lane highway.
Yeah.
Start making my 4-mile walk up the trail to get to Bob, who's the closest to me. So I get up that trail, but I remember thinking when I'm walking on it, this is a dumb idea. I'm at ground level on a thing. It's getting dark. There's wolves out here.
Predator time.
There's
Favorite
stuff
place to
out
walk.
here. There's moose. There's anything I'm like, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So I get to the truck and I'm dying. And of course, I was like, oh, it's going to be locked. He's hunting, but it's open. I'm like, wow. And I was hoping the keys were there. They weren't. But I got in there. Now it's getting hot, and the bugs started coming out.
Yeah.
It was bad. Anyway, long story short, we're walking to go find it. I got like 5 guys out there, lights everywhere. Jamie's like, I think I found it. I'm like, I'm like, you got it? You got it? He goes, yeah, yeah, dude, it's kind of like smaller in the lab. I'm like, what? my face. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I get up there and it's like as big as this table. I'm like,
It's
shrunk, dude. It's
shrunk. You didn't know, but they're hard to
They're extremely
judge.
hard to
It was
judge.
horrible. I know.
We had an experience just like that last year.
Yeah.
We
It
had a
was
bear
bad.
come in. We were bear hunting up in northern
Kinda pull this
Ontario
up
too.
while we're talking.
And then the bear came in. We're like,
Oh yeah, we were like, oh man, I
We're
can't
like-
even understand.
we're like,
I'm like,
same
oh
thing.
my gosh,
we're like, oh man.
right? We're like,
So,
it's at least 600
Boom,
pounds.
nailed it. Same thing. Dropped maybe 10 yards behind the barrel. We're walking back there. I'm like, I see something back there. He's like, no, that's not it. So we walk back there.
Like,
I'm
that's
like,
a tree stump.
I'm like, no, that's another bear. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's another bear. No, that's not him. And he's like, kind of looks like where you shot it. I
he
think
was
that's-
bigger than that.
I'm like, no, he's bigger than that.
He was bigger.
I think that one's been there a while. I think I see maggots. He's
Oh,
like,
I
no,
love
those
it.
are just flies. I'm like, that's him? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh. It was like, I think it was a 150-pound bear.
Yeah, that's about right.
But he did taste good.
He tasted,
He tasted really
tasted
good.
real
Yeah.
good.
Well, I gotta say, the bear meat, I think, is the best meat that I've.
It was
I've
amazing,
had.
dude. That was one thing I do remember. It might have been small, but I tell you one thing: the sausages, everything they made from it.
Yeah.
I would
Just
love
the
to
ground.
have you guys
I mean, the
cooking
ground.
something out of it.
I
but
didn't have
the
a bad
misconce-
taste of beer.
No, the
there, ever.
misconceptions about bear are exaggerated, and that's one of the things we battle against.
there he is. There's the first one.
Okay.
That's the little son of a. He sees even right now. He looks kind of big.
Yeah,
to
he
me.
looks big right there.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
that wide angle.
I
Lens,
think
though.
he's bigger though. Oh, get out of here! I think he's bigger than the one that. See, these is awesome. These GoPros, man.
That's
they're
nice angles.
They're
huh?
everywhere. I have them all over the place, and it's just so funny. But the problem is, once this barrel goes down, man, I'm in deep trouble. I start studying like before I went,
He's got to stand to get in.
and it didn't help me. But he tore
Yeah.
this thing down.
You can't study before you go on a hunt because it's kind of like when you look up like a headache on Google and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're dying in 3 minutes.
He was
Yeah,
in there. See him
yeah.
in there. There he comes. See, he takes off, and all of a sudden here
bolts.
comes
Yep.
this other one.
The monster comes in.
Hey, look at it. It's actually smaller than it is. How did that even happen? And I'm
Must have
thinking
been his
like,
older brother or something.
I'm thinking like, oh, it's got to be bigger, and the barrel's down. So
They
it's
were
coming
like
off.
2-year-olds haven't even left their mother yet.
Yeah, see, there's like he knocked it over.
Mom's in the background going,
He's the annoying
You're
little brother.
stupid.
He's like, crap, he's on his way. I gotta
He
get out of
needed
here.
to put his barefocals on.
Yeah. Just a little guy.
He
Yeah.
looks
now I
really
get
big
it.
next to the.
But
he
the
looks really
Now
big
I
next
can
to that
see it though. Like
5-gallon
now I
pail,
kind of
man.
get a
Yeah,
feel.
no, but when you're in the stand, it's everything. All
I
your
did.
senses are just.
Oh, especially
was
when you're
scary.
jacked up.
He almost fit in that bucket.
You shut your mouth.
Why did you get out of here? What did you name him?
Nice little 5-gallon hat.
I was
there.
gonna say little 5-gallon foot bear
"Oh,
there.
man."
I love black bear hunting just because they're so fun to watch. Just because like we had a bear on a trail cam where he was using the bucket as a toy. He's
Yeah.
literally sitting on his butt
that's
playing
pretty
with
I'm
it.
freaking out.
Yeah,
dude.
you're like,
that's
it's
the funny
on,
part.
man. It's on.
This is back in the bone-driven days. This is
That's an interesting blind they got, or a tree
yeah.
stand they
See what I'm
got you in
talking
there.
about? See the rail? I couldn't.
Yeah.
He came
Yeah.
over there. I'm thinking like this is a huge bear. I'm like getting ready.
That tree's not swaying.
I love this real tree. I
Right.
love this real tree color though. That Max one.
Oh, that's one we just got.
That's what we
Awesome,
just
dude.
got.
Yeah.
It looks awesome out there, and that ground is like real soft, and like when you step, it's like
Yep.
quiet. Like
Oh
pillows.
yeah, up north, it's almost
Beautiful.
like a pillow of moss.
Yeah, it
Beautiful.
Yeah, we just love
How
it.
far are you guys from that area?
So it's like only about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive for us. So it's very
Oh,
close.
that's
It's
not bad.
amazing
Yeah,
how
like
much
where we're going-
wildlife between hunting and fishing we have
Yeah.
access to.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Like we'll be hitting black bear. Black bear opens today, actually, right? It's
The
the first,
Oh,
no,
it's
tomorrow.
15th. Yeah,
Oh,
tomorrow.
for the spring.
Yeah, spring
Yeah,
black
so
bear.
we're going to be
Yeah.
doing so these live hunts
Yep.
and live angling. This continues right
Yep.
through 2018.
That's
Yeah, wow.
So we go
Cool.
right from this slam into
Done.
black
He's
bear.
done.
You're
He's
gonna light
also
him up.
done.
Which one? So what are you
Look at
looking
that.
for?
Oh, a little bit back, but it still
It was
worked
a little
out.
bit.
Actually, the angle was actually good. It didn't look
Yeah.
right, but it was good.
What are you
I
looking
hit him
forward
in
to
the
the
lungs.
most this year?
It's on a step across.
For me,
Andy
there's a
was so
couple.
small,
Obviously, I think the most iconic in North America is the moose.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we
where,
put,
where are you doing that
Sure
at?
old boat.
so that'll be
in
northern Ontario.
We had 3
Okay.
bull moose tags this past year, but we planned a whole 3-week trip up north. Like we were gonna canoe in 150 kilometers. We were gonna canoe
Wow,
in
cool.
whole
Hang on,
like
hold on, let me do the
whole,
math.
like-
Miles, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
yeah.
whole like
Long way.
Hudson's Bay Trading Company like old world epic trip And literally the week before, he got kidney stones.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he ruined it for us.
So the
We're
old
not
man
allowed to go
ruined it.
without him.
Yep.
I got my first kidney stones in this studio.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just
really?
getting ready to shoot a bow. Ron was here. And all of a sudden, I got this horrible pain. It came over me. I'm like, I'll be right back. And I went to the bathroom, and I never came out until I passed it. It was horrible.
Yeah,
No.
they're
And
brutal.
So bad.
Me and Code are sitting there. We're like the creators of Apple. We started in a garage. So we're sitting in the garage. We're looking at Dad. We're like, we can go without you.
get-
Like we can, we can get up there and get it done. We'll have
We just gotta
more
switch
weight
this-
for the moose meat.
Yeah.
We just
and
got to switch this from a canoe into a fly-in.
Listen,
and
we
then we'll
got
be good.
this. We got this
Yeah.
mask. It looks
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
It'll be like you're there with us.
I
So
wasn't
we
having
good.
it. It
I'll
was
take
not
I'll
happening.
take your moose. It'll all be okay.
Exactly. So moose is the big one,
Yep.
I think. But for me, one of these days, and maybe this year, caribou for me will be. It's just one of the things that I've always just dreamt of. Just so majestic, so incredible. But for us, it's all about what does it taste like.
Right.
So we're always looking for diversity. We
Yep.
want to eat and try everything, and then find good ways to cook it.
Yep.
Is there
That's
a favorite? What's your favorite that you've had so
So
Is
far?
there?
What's your favorite?
In terms of hunting, or that we've eaten.
No,
Eaten.
eating.
There's two different. In a kitchen, I'd say the neck roast.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere was the one night where you fell asleep,
Yeah.
and we cooked that bear.
Black bear.
Because
Yeah.
I hadn't had black bear yet, and
Yeah.
I heard all the rumors. It's tough. You're gonna like all this, and we cooked
We
it.
sat there. It was the night after we went and after we field dressed that bear out. We had some in the cooler, and he
Yeah.
fell asleep. And we're like, "Oh, let's eat something." So we just had we were sleeping in an outfitter tent and a lac neck tent, and literally we just cooked it over our wood stove in
Yeah.
there. And
I don't-
it was incredible.
I don't know what it is. Like, you know how like you can eat food at home, and like you can have like an oatmeal pack, and it kind of like tastes like garbage, and then you're in the middle of nowhere, and that's
Yeah.
like a 5-course meal
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
tastes like
Yeah, yeah,
gold.
yeah. Yep.
I think
Mine-
that had a big
Yep.
part in it.
My newest favorite is honestly that Cubano we made down in
Oh, that was good.
so wild boar and a classic Cubano. It was just a beautiful roll, Swiss cheese, and then we made mojo, which is fresh cilantro and lime.
Oh, man, it
and
was
then
good.
if you have a picture of it, and
I'll
then
show you.
literally just grilled on both sides, butter on both sides, and grilled
Oh, man.
like perfect street food, but wild to table.
I'm changing my answer to in the kitchen. We did it on a live. It was the venison Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, yeah, that was
That
beautiful.
was my
So
favorite. by
this
far.
was a good one. This is
Wild
so-
mule deer quesadillas.
Yeah, quesadillas, and this is a cottage pie with the wild turkey we did. So those are some. Those
Yeah.
are like the recipes. The nice thing,
That's-
and that's a
that's
dumpling.
the
with
wild
this-
turkey
with
dumpling.
that smoked leg. And there's that Philly cheesesteak
Yeah,
Dave was
that
just
was-
talking about. And we do drinks. So mixology is an important part of it.
There you go.
That
Yeah,
looks amazing.
yeah, it was dirty, man.
Rainbow
that
trout.
trout was
That was
unbelievable. Duck.
Dang, what was that? Jalapenos and something else?
That's
Habanero?
one of that's
It
an
was,
interesting
yeah.
one too. That was grouse and fig.
Yes,
That was an
was
interesting recipe.
spectacular. Yeah, that
Because
was a
you
really good
can't
one,
think
too.
you can do much with grouse
Yeah.
because it like you get so little out of it.
Yeah.
But you get enough, and then you
That was
pair
that
it with the
wild
right
boar.
things,
Oh,
and it turns into quite the meal.
So
You
what
got
are you
the
guys doing
kebab.
like for this trip? Are you gonna cook something while you're there, or are you gonna
Yeah,
you
so
bringing
thi-
stuff to cook, or how does
so-
that work?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, it's like sushi.
Yeah, that thing was dirty, man. Only
bear.
it was sushi that was about this big.
Wow.
Man, it was awesome. So every single trip we go through the same kind of sequence.
Yep.
The thing that initiates the first thing we do when we get in country, as we're saying, so we get there and we set the stage. So we want the stories of where we go are as important as what we're hunting and cooking. So we set that stage, and so it's a who, what, when, where, why, and how. We're talking about the geography, the culture, how that's influencing the different foods.
good idea.
So you think about it, like you think about the diversity. If you go from San Francisco to New Orleans to Miami to
Yeah.
every single place has different
Yeah.
ingredients
Yep.
and different things that make it great. And then the thing that initiates it is that first when you have something down. So when something is down, that's where it begins. And so the advantage we have with a couple cameras is we've got the profile of what the hunter's experiencing and that live kill. And a lot of people have challenged us about why do you have to show the live kill? If you check with the broadcasters, they'll only let you use a certain number of seconds, and then they shut that down. And our thing is, we have to reconnect people with the understanding that in order for them to live, something else is dying every single time.
Yep.
Energy transfers.
Don't take away from it.
Kale or meat.
And don't stop and embrace it. And if you understand it, there's a few things that'll happen. You'll never waste a piece of food again.
Yep.
You'll certainly appreciate what you're eating,
Yep.
and you'll have a complete respect for that animal. But so anyway, so you have the kill and then the recovery.
Yep.
The big one, and since we're here in Detroit, it was a young lady from Detroit.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah.
So we were field dressing this hog, and like part of it looked like a horror film. There was a lot of blood, and she said, this is so fascinating. I have to stop watching.
It's so gory.
So gory, but I can't stop.
Yep.
And she was commenting the whole time.
Yeah.
She had never seen it before, and this is kind of the problem too, is that a lot of the things, there's always the camera's turning away just when you need it to bloody stay there,
Yep.
so we can see what you're doing, even if it doesn't go textbook.
Yep.
Because that's the thing about hunting, field dressing, and even cooking. Doesn't always go textbook, but if you kind of go through these things, we're kind of trying to go through it for the viewer.
And not trying to make them uncomfortable either. The biggest thing that we want to do is teach them. We want them to know, okay, if I go down to Florida and I don't want to have someone else skin my hog, I know how to do it. I can do it. I watch those guys on the outdoor show. I watch them do it. They showed me how to do it.
And for me, even like I was sitting in the classroom while I was watching that video. That didn't go over well with a couple of the girls that were beside me. But the thing that I loved about it, and I had the thought when I was sitting there, is it kind of pairs the disconnect, because people see the kill and the butcher, and then they see meat later on.
Yeah.
But they can't see that piece of meat from the blood and the gore without stoppage to the point where it looks like a beautiful packaged piece of meat that you get in the grocery store. Yeah. And it bridges that gap very well to see that
I think
live.
that scares people, though, too.
It does.
In a bad way.
And it scares them in a bad way, but, that's, we're doubling down this year because we know.
I love this concept, by the way.
We know because the views are there. We know because the comments. We know people need it and want it and love it.
Well, this is the biggest disconnect in between hunters and non-hunters, I think, and you guys are kind of bridging that because with the chef thing too. But a lot of people, and a lot of the biggest complaints we get, and I don't know if they're complaints, but they're whatever BS comments. But they're people like, how could you kill that poor animal? How could you do this? How could you do that? And it's just like, dude, really?
Well, you guys have to get.
Are you eating burgers? Are you even eating plants? You're killing a plant. You're killing something. You're taking the energy from something, like you just said earlier.
But I can tell you, I've been invited many times. So I've pretty much kept my mainstream culinary work and my outdoors culinary work separate for this very reason. And I've allowed that veil to start coming down because I believe so strongly in this. And I've been invited many times to see things like, for example, 5,000 acres of kale. And what I try to share, and I respect vegans and vegetarians as much as I do anybody else. I really do. But I have to tell them, you need to come to grips with the reality that for your kale to grow, that farmer has to do animal management. Otherwise, you're not going to get that perfect kale that you want. So understand
in the habitat.
You're not exactly. They've we've been to Guyana where they cleared 2,000 acres of rainforest.
Oil, but they're killing monkeys, jaguars, and everything to clear that rainforest.
And so that's great that you've got your 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, cold pressed extra virgin. But remember that no matter what, if you're consuming something, something else is dying.
I don't
We
know
are
if
top
I've
of the
even
food
thought
chain.
about it
Even
in that-
coffee.
I was going to
in
say
that
even
sense.
coffee.
You thought of it that way.
We are top of the food chain, and I'll tell you something else that happens is it stops the waste. There's a massive movement right now to stop food waste. It's become against the law in France. Protectionism has protected local farmers in that country, and that's what needs to start happening in North America is the farmer has to be put first, waste has to be eliminated, and it's interesting how going wild to table is a very, very strong reminder of that, because it's not easy. It's definitely not.
And that's the other thing that we're teaching people is not just hunting and fishing, it's also growing and raising. So growing your own vegetables, growing your own, whether you have a 10-acre garden or you have a 5x5 plot
or pot or planters on a deck on a condo.
And then if you want to raise your own chickens or your rabbits or anything like that, you're just that's very extreme
Yeah.
for some
Yeah.
people, but in some people,
But it's weird because
regular.
if you go back in time, that was normal.
It's
Like,
normal.
for my
Not
grandma,
that far
and
back,
not
we're
that
cutting
far back.
chickens' heads.
Exactly.
Not
Yeah,
that far
really
back.
not
And
that
how
far
we
back.
detach ourselves from
Yeah.
things that are like not all of us.
I've
but-
always found it tastes better too when you do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I mean,
When
it's
you
not.
take
It's
the
not.
pride.
To me, it's not. Yeah, it's not the freshness, and
Yep.
it is part of it's that. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you take pride
Yep.
in what you're doing, and that you
Yep.
put that on. I can go to my wife, I can go to my kids, and like, watch out, you might get a bullet in that.
Yes.
You know? Like,
How many people have you had give you meat, right? Everybody
What, you
gives
talking
each
about
other
you?
meat.
yeah, hey, listen, I can bird hunt a little bit.
And I just thought you filmed.
You say, don't worry, honey. It's just a little bit of iron in your diet.
That's
Don't
it.
you worry
That's
about
it.
that.
For me,
But there's something satisfying about
yeah,
it.
and for me, back to the main point that we were talking, and us being new hunters, is coming into it and trying to explain it to people. Like sometimes I literally have to draw it out. Like, well, how does hunting deer save deer? And I literally have to draw it out in a square and say, okay, listen, if there's too many deer here, it starts to breed disease, and
Yeah,
there's not enough food.
It's true.
Get
And
hit
it's
by cars
and you start to think, because this person is 20 years old, they can comprehend this. But when it comes to this topic, they're children, because they haven't learned it, just like we were when we started, and they've had this 20 years of teaching them that this is bad.
Yep.
So you're talking about 20 years of knowledge versus a child, and you have to explain it to them in a way that they can really see it.
They can digest it, and that makes me think of something, Bay, and that is that. So if I was to teach you guys to make a dish, let's say, and I was like checking out your knife skills, and I'm like, I wouldn't cut an onion like that, brother. And like I'm making fun of
That's
you,
probably
right?
the first thing you said too.
Right, and I'm making fun of you, or I'm like, oh, that doesn't really. So one of the biggest things that we've seen in the outdoors world is we're working to eliminate that is we want to get rid of this idea that everything's got to be a trophy, that everything's got to be,
Bye,
Amen.
Chris.
yeah.
See you,
Take
man.
care,
Bye.
buddy.
See you later.
There has.
I've never shot for trophies.
Well,
so.
and here's the thing: it's okay to as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's the same way that if I light you up about your knife skills, we don't want people to get lit up over their decisions. Some people if it begins somewhere, that's all we care about. Right. It's just got to start somewhere, because it's like anything else. You'll get that little hook in you, and then that passion will just take you the rest of the way.
So what is the biggest mistake that you see like that average everyday guy making when it comes to that?
It happened with us. I mean, with us, what we had when we first started hunting, and even some of the guys who were literally in our hunter ed class with us, they were supposedly there are these country people who were hunter. We're like, well, why are you in hunter ed class then? You obviously have never hunted before.
Yeah.
Right.
So they already have this pompous attitude towards you because somehow they think they know more than you.
Yeah.
When really, if we all just put our heads together, it'd probably kill more deer.
And go back to what we said before about you have to be teachable. Shut up and listen to the guys who have been doing it and learn the right way.
And the biggest thing, and there's a lot of that going around right now when we're talking about the outdoors world and what the outdoors world is kind of being subjected to, and that is that when we work together, that there's a tremendous amount of influence and making people like one of the biggest stats, and I'll have to give you the exact, the numbers are rough, okay, but in the next 15 years in the United States, there will be almost 1/3 of the current hunters will be gone just purely because of age. And that means that as hunters, everybody listening and everybody watching, you gotta talk to your neighbor, you gotta talk to your friend, you gotta say, listen, this is a way of life that is just so awesome.
And it changes who you
people
are.
Don't realize that though.
No,
they
they
say,
don't.
how do they pull? And that just doesn't sound right, or But that topic just yesterday, NPR. Right, National Public Radio, known for research, and they had a topic that came out exactly saying that exact point.
Yes,
is that hunters have disappeared substantially within the last couple of decades.
Well, and so the problem then becomes is you don't have the financial base for the conservation.
That's exactly
you
their
don't
point.
have the financial
That was
base
exactly
for the
their point.
research.
Yep.
You don't have the financial base even for a guy who wants to develop a product. If he is going to develop a product for 1/3 less of the population, you're talking about about fewer choices, less opportunity, and the biggest thing is instead of acting as one voice and having the power and the influence to protect that heritage, there's going to be a lot less voices. So
Well, I think we were talking about that the other day when it came to crossbows and compounds and that growth cycle that you see things in, and then the contraction that a normal business will go through. When you reached that peak, there's always that contraction, but it is up to us to really get those young hunters back in. And that's where I think it is. It's talking to your neighbors, talking to everybody.
Yes.
I think we have this personal thing because we're both.
Let me stop you right
dads.
there.
Sure.
Because that is one really nice beard. I'm sorry. It just looks like you've been
Is that sticking out? Are you making
know,
fun of
no,
the
it just
No,
looks
it
so like
looks
good.
bad.
You know what's funny? I was
Grizzly
literally,
Adams
as he was
over here.
talking, I was looking at it, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I can't grow a
Can't take
beard.
you
I'm feeling
seriously
really
with that
sad
beard.
about
It's
that.
just too good.
I did use the oil. Today.
Bob got so mad at him the other day, called him a Taliban
I haven't
leader.
oiled
He
it.
did. What's that?
I haven't oiled in a few.
You need to change your oil.
I need to get an oil because
Amish
I'm about
oil.
as smooth as a baby's bottom over here. I go on these trips and everybody's like, and I'm like, hey guys, how's it going?
It makes it easier for me to
you're right,
wake up
though.
and
people.
do nothing but-
Well, that's the disconnect that you guys are talking about. You're absolutely 100% correct. People don't realize they have to take it from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. They just go get a McDonald's hamburger. They don't care that it's actually horrible meat that comes through a processing system where they take a poker and stick it through a thing's head and it bleeds out. It's crazy. If you could just see that, they have seen that. The PETA and those people who no one and hunters like PETA, but they did get footage of these animals, how they die and how they go under, and it's just unbelievable that people think that's not a big deal, or they don't want organic, fresh food that's natural.
Who were we
I find that
talking
hard to
to?
believe.
We were talking to somebody the other day about halal
Oh, yeah.
chicken.
Yeah.
Too about how was it? Maybe you weren't with me, but it was something about how. And don't quote me on any of this stuff, but look it up. But there's a you have to slit the throat.
Yes.
I think is what
Yeah.
it is. In
Yeah,
order
just
for
like
for it to
kosher,
be
there's a
halal.
mechanism for the
and
kill. Yep.
and like the big huge chicken manufacturers, if you want to call them that, what they do is they actually kill the chicken first and then slit the throat, but that still makes it halal. So it's that mentality that people don't get over, that it's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It's all sugar coated.
Yeah.
Well, and so the thing is, then it becomes okay. So wild to table, it's a great catchphrase. We love the idea, but what is the actionable part of this? What can make? Because if you want something to actually have some kind of teeth, it's like what can we act on? And so that's why it's live. Because that is where anything can happen. We say, what we say? We say it's like a combination of the Truman Show and Death Race. So, be a fly on the wall and something bad could happen.
You can plan out everything.
Yeah.
But not everything is going to go the way
Do
you
you
want.
guys have like I know I saw some recipes. Do you guys have like a cookbook maybe coming out?
So the cookbook comes out for Christmas this year.
Awesome.
I'm assuming we'll have one here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
you will.
Yeah,
we
you
need some
definitely-
hats, too,
And the
I
next
guess.
time we come, we're going to bring some food.
Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Cook
I
next
cannot
time.
believe
Yeah.
it.
Kevin's
We'll
not
do
here.
it right
He's gonna be very
Kevin's
disappointed
our
right now.
house cook.
Is that right?
Yes, he's a fireman. He was a fireman for years.
Oh well, then.
okay,
Oh man,
well,
I don't cook against firemen.
No.
they are the best cooks in the world. They can literally take
I'm telling
like
you.
4 ingredients and make enough to feed an army.
He's gonna be so disappointed. He's not
So we
here
should
for
do a
this.
cook-off.
Yes,
Oh,
that was
would
the
be
thing.
Let's
great.
do it.
That would be awesome.
Right? Let's
I think
do
that'd
it.
be
This could be
I'm in.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm in.
I can't wait to see Kevin's
a live
plate.
cook. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, we'll
man.
do a live cook-off. And the other thing is, have you guys ever heard of Sous Vide?
Oh, yeah.
I have a sous
That was a
vide.
joke.
I have it. No,
I
have-
assume you guys would know.
Yeah,
Sous Vide.
no, I have a sous vide with me. I have,
You're
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. I have an immersion circulator. It's funny because one of the outdoor sports or the outdoor network, one of the guys said, "Hey, like if you're doing some recipes, could you teach us sous vide?" And it's so great because it goes back to the classic cooking techniques.
So let's talk about sous vide just a second. So here's what happened.
Explain-
let me go through the story real
have
quick.
him explain-
and then,
have him explain what it is.
how to
Okay.
use it.
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't.
Yeah,
So
so-
Kevin went to real quick. I'll give
Yep,
you
yeah,
the
go ahead.
lowdown. Kevin went to a party. It was a German guy who's here from Germany, and
Makes sense.
he. Excuse me.
was that in Europe?
It was the beard talking. Leave him
Oh, is
alone.
it German? Is it a German thing? I don't even know. Is it German
It's
or
not.
French?
No, it's not.
Swedish? Anyway, so Kevin goes to a party. He has this amazing steak and short ribs, and he comes home, brings it back, and he's like, "You gotta try this." So I try it, and I'm like, "Wow, that was absolutely incredible." He goes, "Yeah, they use a technique called sous vide." And I'm like, "What?" So we were talking about it in the podcast. And I'm like, how many people want to vote to buy Kevin a Sous Vide so he can try this? And everybody voted yes, so I bought it for him.
Because we want the food.
He took it. He took it. He's on a trip in his RV across the country right now.
Nice.
Not a honey one, but just a chill trip.
Nice.
With his wife. And so when he gets back, he's supposed to like work on the Sous Vide thing.
Yeah.
So that's where our story ends. Now yours begins.
So
you tell us,
first
how
explain to
does it work?
everybody what is it and what makes it different from other things that are, because it's a little bit similar.
I don't
to
really
some
understand. It
other-
looks like a fish thermometer to me.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't-
so what it is, so first of all, sous vide, so things are under vacuum.
Yep.
Sous vide being French, and so what you're doing is you are infusing flavor by infusion. You're also doing it at a lower temperature and a controlled temperature. So you'll set a very specific temperature, and of course, as things increase in temperature, it changes their texture and their molecular profile. So to make it really simple, if you cook it low and slow, so a long period of time at a low temperature, you can have something that is just completely, perfectly delicate, completely cooked, and infused with whatever you put in there. So if you take let's just take something like if you take, what's the last fish you caught?
Bluegill, Dave?
Well, I didn't catch it. I have a lot of salmon. We have a lot of
Okay,
salmon
so
right
take
now.
salmon.
Yep.
So then you take some of your favorite ingredients. So salmon, let's say we take some citrus and maybe some chilies and
sounding
maybe a
good
little
already. I
bit
like
of fresh
this.
herb,
Dill
maybe a
and
little,
dill
yeah, a
Any,
little
any
bit.
cumin in this?
We can avoid not with
Just
salmon.
asking.
Not for salmon.
So we'll tuck it in there. We put it under vacuum, so vac seal it, and then put it in the sous vide. And let's say we want to finish it. Let's say we just want something simple, like we want 79 degrees. You set it, it immersion circulates, moves the water around, and you'll get something that will be 79 degrees, completely cooked. It'll have no coloration. So a lot of times when it comes out of the sous vide, you'll open up the pack. And if you want something that's a little crispy, little developed flavor, you'll maybe put it in a pan very quickly to sear it, to give it some texture.
grill or no?
Or grill,
Oh, yeah.
anything. But the point is that because it is so controlled, so tempered,
'Cause the
and
juices
so
can't
low,
leave, right?
it
Everything's
can't
stuck
leave.
in it.
It's always
And
just
it's
amazing.
because it's
Is
a
it
controlled
good?
environment.
Is it real good?
It's
I-
delicious.
I've only
But
had it once. It
You
was,
can
it was
serve
warmed up
looking,
too.
You can serve it looking almost raw.
You
Like
can
a
almost
fish
serve it
looks
like
raw.
it just came off.
Yeah.
It's,
Really?
it's very, very cool, and we're going to be doing lots of it.
I
So
wouldn't
we gotta
even
figure
think-
this
you
out
said
because-
78 degrees though.
Yeah, well, for salmon, absolutely. So you could have something that was
See-
somewhere between sushi
Hold on,
and
Celsius.
yeah.
Okay.
We need our conversion. Don't worry, we need our conversion table.
You had me
So that's
for a
what we should
second.
do. We should have, because we have like a lot of salmon and trout. Because John Sear, one of the guys we work with, he goes fishing on a charter out west, Michigan. He always gets giant
Yeah.
salmon
Tons
and
of
stuff,
salmon.
tons of
Oh,
meat.
okay.
So like that's what we should, next time you guys come, I should just have it all ready for you guys to play with, and like let's just play around with all these different pieces of meat and steaks. That way you don't have to bring it all. We can have it for you.
But that's the cool thing too. So when we did all these lives, and it started about a year ago, we did Surefire Wednesdays. So what we would do is we would test a recipe live. So we'd work through it and go through the mechanism that as a chef you think about, okay, so what are we going to add to this? And talking about, you asked about the whitetail, like, so how do we need to approach this to get a really good, to get really good flavor, good texture. And see, the reason why this is so important is because to get other people revved up about wild game. So, like, the husbands, the wives, the aunts, the everybody who hasn't had it, there's always one guy or one girl who does it. How do you get other people excited about it? Make it very palatable. If it tastes great, if the texture's right, if it's not grainy, if it's not tough, if it's not gamey, all of a sudden you're like, oh man, that's actually really good. We always say to people, you know what you're tasting? Flavor. That's not gaminess. That's flavor.
That's awesome.
So let's definitely do that. The nice thing is, as we always go down into the States, because we've got a lot of stuff in the U.S. Over the next 9 months, we always pass right by.
I was going to say, when you guys let us know the dates you're
That'd be
coming back,
awesome.
we'll get if you guys can spend the night or do an overnighter, so you have some time, then we can actually do like a summer cook-off or whatever time you guys are coming back through.
Even when we come back from the slam, just going over some of the footage and seeing some of that stuff, we'll definitely let you know when we're coming
it'd be
back.
great.
because,
Kevin will be back by then. And
that'd be awesome.
but what else was I going to tell you? Let's talk about knives real quick, right?
Okay.
So for chefs, for knives. Okay, so I got this knife. It came to me years ago,
Yeah.
and it was from a company called Kershaw, but they owned a Japanese sushi knife thing, and they sent me one of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So I started, and it looked like kind of one of the knives you guys had up here.
Yeah.
It might not be the same brand, but
Damascus steel.
Oh, you're thinking Damascus steel?
whatever. This one. That one there.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's Damascus.
So I whatever it is, it was unbelievable. Like this knife, like I still have it today, and like I cut anything so precise with it. I think it's made for sushi, but I'm not.
It's actually so it's not.
It looks just like that.
Right
Yeah,
there.
so that's laminated steel, of course, and laminated and compressed, and it's absolutely beautiful. Of course, like hunters love their guns and their bows, and fishermen love their reels. We look at this beauty. I just got this one. Having
Holy cow!
Isn't that gorgeous? Groman knives, man, I'll tell you, we love them.
Yep. Do you guys cook with these too?
What
these
kind is it again?
Or no?
This is Groman. So this has been about 100 years.
This is like an everyday knife.
Yeah,
that's just my pocket knife, but that's something we have on us, and we
works great
have
for.
a look at that boy.
Yeah, we all always have one on us.
Wow.
So it's it's like, and you can see they're always being used for one thing or
That is
another.
absolutely beautiful. Too.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, that is. Wow.
So
this
and
handle.
so the
So
other thing
nice.
about Wild to Table is it makes
It's a good balance too.
Yeah.
you're talking about sous vide.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, cow.
That one's dull right now because these guys took it to gut their last deer.
That's a great knife.
You borrow a man's knife, you sharpen it.
That's right.
Give it back.
Exactly. But you talk about sous vide and the cooking techniques, but one of the things that that cooking and Wild to Table does for the outdoors world is it makes it so enjoyable. There's so much pleasure out of doing something. Like just look at this right now, right?
I have pleasure watching it.
Yeah, simple techniques. So slicing the skin so the skin doesn't curl, and then adding a great flavor base, and then teaching classic techniques. So everything and introducing new ingredients too. That's the other.
Yeah, the stuff you walk by in the grocery store, say, I'm never going to use that. I don't even know what that
You
is.
just buy it and play with it.
And then all of a sudden you get to see it.
Yep. You put that in your trout next time.
I don't think I've
Those
ever
chili
had
or
fennel.
jalapeno or
Those are
habanero?
chilies, so
Chilies.
green and red chilies. But I mean, we literally.
So is this your kitchen at home?
Yeah.
So this was actually since this interesting how it trickles down. So this was our house in the city. And so we started this, and so now we're on a farm. And
Cool.
I
How many acres you guys on now?
right now we got there's about 40 there.
Cool.
And so the cool thing is we're right beside about 80 acres of conservation.
Cool.
And then there's
Very
there's farms around us where nobody hunts, which means well, yesterday I had 13 deer run across, and then 13
And then
turkeys.
13
run across.
The turkeys
Same
ran.
number.
They were just went right across
They
the
were
field.
booking
They're just
Full out.
teasing you.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're letting us know they're there.
So
Actually, I have animals surrendering. Sometimes I hear the doorbell, and they're like, I'd like to be sous vide. Could I be sous vide?
If I'm going to be cooked,
I'd like to be sous vide, please.
oh man,
Just make it
that's
quick,
awesome.
sir.
Right.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. Yeah, I was just thinking when I see this. So did you guys film this, or do you guys have someone come in? Or?
I filmed this the day
Nice.
that.
This is great.
Where were you? You were out doing
So
something.
this one is made the trout. You filmed the salmon.
Let's talk about
I filmed the salmon.
let's talk about filming because it's interesting. People don't realize how hard it is to film in the field, and stuff like this is not easy to do. It looks just great.
It's a beautiful
What kind of
looking
camera are
knife,
we
too,
using
wow.
for something like this?
This one was the 1DX Mark II.
1DX Mark II.
Canon.
Oh, the expensive one, the real top notch.
4K internal.
Yeah.
Is it now? See, here's my question about that. Tim and I have been having this issue here. So we've been filming. We love Canon. We love the look of Canon, the color grade.
Yeah.
But the 4K is huge.
Yep.
Like massive.
Well, on the 1DX Mark II, you're basically dealing with hundreds, if not thousands, of little pictures. That's what you're dealing with.
That's what they were saying. I remember reading
Okay.
because we have the 5D Mark IV, and we were doing video with that, and it looks absolutely stunning.
Yep.
But now, is this in 4K or 1080?
This one's in 4K.
So how are you editing?
Depending
all
on
that,
where you're watching it.
Yeah, we're
If this
editing.
is on YouTube, it'd be 4K.
Yeah,
Yeah, editing in Final Cut Pro X.
That's
and
what I use. How do you get the speed up though? I mean, with that big of a file.
We got a big
computer.
Big computer.
I mean, is it like
Stop! No, just stop. We just got to stop.
yeah.
This is,
He'll spend
I'm
the money.
sorry,
It's in the
everybody.
truck. We
It's
can
in the
show
truck.
you.
We could show
we
you.
gotta-
is it like a laptop or is it
No.
like a?
It's a
No,
desktop.
it's
The
Or is
big-
it like-
the
Here we
iMac
go.
5K display?
Oh, okay.
That one.
I got that. I have that one.
But then we got a big, nice 3 terabyte dual
Did you add RAM?
We added
Yes.
3 terabytes.
We loaded it up, and then we work. So we use the 12T off.
Yep.
So it has
So we don't
a
burden the
hard
computer.
drive, right? So we don't burden the computer.
Yeah.
It allows us to do it.
Wow, look at all these sponsors. You guys got all these same sponsors, or
Yeah, so
Mostly?
everybody there except our friends at Realtree are.
so Carhartt though, huh? That's exciting.
Oh, hey, let me tell
Love
you
their
about
Michigan,
Carhartt
you know
right
that.
here,
Dearborn.
and and honestly, the Carhartt. We just finished a series, and actually they'll be releasing it this spring.
Well, that's
but
not you guys.
the
Sorry.
Carhartt. If you go back to the website, I'll show you some of this Carhartt series that we did. Oh, man.
Let me pause this. Sorry, I have something.
Yeah, yeah, that.
Although I'd like to watch it again. That's the Canon though, huh? That looks
that one is the Canon.
Wow.
Yep. Canon 1DX Mark II. Let me tell you,
So
like
if you
that
go
camera
to
and the photos out of it
videos.
are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the photos are.
Why'd
next
you pick
level.
that camera? Just
Well,
curious.
Weather sealed.
Weather sealed.
Weather sealed.
But I think
so,
the 5D4 is weather sealed.
Yeah.
right?
So, but
plus 40 minus 40.
yeah, plus 40 minus 40.
Fahrenheit.
The underwater. And then just so much research. Going back and forth between the we went from the C100 to that. It was,
okay,
So that was
yeah,
a
yeah,
Okay.
huge contrast.
That was a big
C100.
So we're
difference.
looking at the C500, C300 Mark II, and we're going back and forth. And you look at the C300 Mark II, and you're looking at like 20 grand Canadian,
Yeah.
right? And the 1DX Mark II has all the capabilities of that C300 Mark II. Plus, it can take amazing photos.
Did you look at the C200?
Yep.
Now that came out. Was
that came out after.
But you have to
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
like for size,
Huge,
that's
yeah.
the
Like
biggest
this.
thing. And then, but now we have the new Canon.
We have a new Canon.
So we're doing
Yep.
two. We're doing video and
This looks great, man.
So
this
this-
is like
so
beautiful
this is
lighting.
amazing
Looks really good.
quality.
Well
back
done.
to Carhartt. So the reason I'm loving Carhartt so much is they want to tell the wild
They
table
do.
story.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me the people who
great.
will make money from hunters, but not
Yep.
support them overtly. And all I'm saying is that Carhartt recognizes who their customers are,
Yep.
and they stand behind them.
We
They
did
know
this-
that they built that brand on the backs of and they're
we
actually
we need more companies like that.
Yes.
In the
Did you guys go?
industry.
You guys been there or no?
Kudos to
Whereabouts?
no,
They're in
not yet.
Dearborn here,
But
yeah.
we
They're
so
local.
you can see. So
I love that jacket.
Oh, this is so. and so what? So this is
That's
right
cool.
straight from them. We're talking about the hardworking men and women, and
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying right here. And it's important because of the simple fact that they support it, but they recognize that, and for us, it makes we don't call them sponsors; they're our partners.
They're our
Yeah. partners.
Because we're not looking at
Trying to do something
2
together. I
years.
mean, that's the
We're
point.
looking
Yep.
at 10 years, and that's the way
Yeah.
it's been, by the way, with Bowtech and Excalibur.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
I'm telling you, these guys
Yep.
have literally lit us up in a way. They not only taught us, but they also gave us the tools for success. And
Absolutely.
it's been tremendous.
I love working with Bowtech's guys. They're on their game, and they're very. In Tim specifically, the rest of them are great, but Tim very conscious about how to get reach correctly in
Yes.
live
Yeah.
streams. You guys, I believe, even live stream on our page because
Yes.
of Tim, and he's
Yep.
able to make that connection and
Yep.
get everybody to work together, and it's great. I mean,
Yep.
what better way to share that than to work together as sharing it?
And,
and
the reason
man,
we can is because what do we all have in common? Food.
that's right.
We all have food in common.
Yeah, we all share
Everybody
that.
eats.
Yes, we
But
do.
my thing is that a joke? Oh man. Anyway, so where can people find out about your guys' show and everything?
The most important thing to us right now with the lives is we really believe in this hybrid profile. We started off making television and we realized that we don't want to tell a story 12 months from now. We want to tell a story right now. And we also want to hear from our viewers right now. Because what we want to do is we want to shape that so that it's exactly what they're looking for. And also we want it to be relevant. So if something's going on, when we were down in Florida, we had this opportunity. The name of the
Wounded Warrior program?
yeah, but there's specific one. It's called
Freedom's Finest Outdoors.
Thank you. Sorry, I keep forgetting that. Freedom's Finest Outdoors. So we heard, there's Wounded Warriors guys coming in. We're like, you know what? Let's stay. Let's cook with them and
Hunt with them, cook with them.
hunt with them and cook with them. And so that led to a bunch of other things. And what we realized is that going live, being out there, the stories that are developing are so exciting,
Yeah.
and they're so honest and so real. And then the biggest thing is just showing these people, because it's not just just the outfitters. It's these incredible characters.
Yep.
We were bow fishing on Lake Okeechobee.
Oh man,
Manny.
Puig.
Yeah, it's so
You know the Wild Boys on
Yeah.
MTV
Yeah.
going back. So Manny Puig, he's kind of long gray hair.
Yeah,
I
so
remember him.
we got to hang with him and a guy he always worked, and we found ourselves out there in the middle of the night, it's a full moon, standing on the deck of an airboat, bow fishing, gators around, massive tilapia, and never planned to do it. And that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this country.
People need to see that stuff right here.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
And so that's when it switched from to wild table road trips, because that's the beauty of this country. Is everybody, we can't believe it. Everybody's like, well, come in, let's do this. Come in, let's do this. And we're like, this is where it's at, because
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
somebody's like, man, I want to bowfish. This is awesome. And
Yeah.
and so the stories become.
I love how I
easy.
absolutely. I mean, the way that you guys explain like how you intertwine both worlds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, we're pumped about it.
We're
D-
excited.
and
I'm depressed. I've been invited to so many hunts. You guys have no idea. I've been invited to all states. I pretty much by companies. I just can't go. Like, I don't have the time. I wish. I gotta wait till my kids get older. Then I'm money. Then I'm like, we out of here. I can't wait to finally be able to do stuff.
I still I still have young girls too, and that's one of the things I wanted to say. So if you look at this one right here, so this is my Gracie, and so the nice thing is it's the three of us guys here, but there's 5 girls at home who are also hunting and being getting into this lifestyle, and recognizing how. Well, watch her take this shot. She's awesome.
Yeah,
Look at that, my girl.
That's pretty cool.
that Edge SB1 for the little ones
awesome.
going down to 7 pounds really helped her in the start.
Big time.
Yeah,
So-
like this weekend, it was my wife. It was her first weekend out turkey hunting ever. So I mean,
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of firsts and a lot of good
That's
ways
exciting.
to tell it. But
You sound like a proud papa. So
I am
Yeah.
a proud. I got 5 kids and 2
That's great.
grandkids.
yeah,
And,
that's great, man.
and the interesting thing about the lives is that I think 12 months ago, really the technology didn't exist.
Oh,
It
I know. It's crazy
No,
how
so-
fast.
so-
how fast this industry has moved towards that
growing.
too is actually very interesting to us.
Yeah.
Because the
costs us a lot
the
of money.
hunting industry.
Me too.
And
Oh my gosh.
I
Look
blame
around
you
you.
for the next purchases that I'm going to see. But it's kind of interesting, I think, to us is because we've seen the hunting industry be a little bit lacking at times in regards to catching up with mainstream. But this live, like you're
Well,
saying,
I think it's the time. I think they needed to do it because
it's a generation
sales
switch
were getting
too.
low.
It is.
Things had to
Yes.
change quick, and I think companies are jumped in full core. I think that's why you're seeing sponsors so much easier that we've never had before, because companies are changing their direction. Like, oh, wait a minute, social is important. Holy cow.
Oh, people aren't watching TV anymore.
Oh, wait a minute.
or they don't know
Well,
what
here's the thing.
what it is, right?
The
times are
most
changing.
important thing is that no other delivery method can actually give you analytics.
Right.
And that's what we love about that.
Real
because we can see
analytics.
if we start doing something like something we've learned, we started off really doing our cooking segments like a Food Network stuff. So regimented like that. And then we're like, man, this doesn't feel right. So let's just cut half of this crap out.
Smart,
and let's just do
Cut to
something
action.
simple. And we have a thing now where basically
You're not Rachel Ray? What do you mean?
yeah. Careful, it might be on there next week. The
awesome.
frying, if it doesn't fit in a frying pan, like we're talking about the ingredients,
Yep.
we don't want to do it. We want it fewer ingredients,
Yeah.
simple recipes, a
Yep.
couple good techniques, and then we want to eat. And we want to get it done quick.
Yeah.
And that's our
I mean,
biggest
that you
issue.
just hit my philosophy with eating. Period.
Yeah.
Well, to get it done quick, right? What's the average? The average North American spends how much time on dinner?
It's less than
Yeah,
17
same.
minutes.
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I'd say that's about right.
Microwave.
What's a good,
I work full time. My wife works full time. By the time we get home,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
You're
try and put something on the
starving.
table.
Like,
It's,
man.
unless we put it in a crock pot and set it in the morning, and
Yep.
come home and
I
it's
find-
done, which doesn't happen as much as you want.
I find myself, it's really weird. Before you guys even came, or I knew you guys were coming, I actually started cooking more, which is not normal for me. But my wife had these, like, I don't know why she had these, like, bean burgers, whatever you call them, the
Black
vegan
bean burgers?
burgers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to do something with those. And so I put it on a pita. I use a George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
Put a pita down, hummus on it. Put
Nice.
the burger. This is after I cooked the burger a little, whatever you want to call it, potato burger, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
Put hummus over the top, and I put like jalapenos on it, and then I put it together. I put a little bit of cheese to hold it together. Otherwise,
gotta have the glue.
again, I George Formed it, and it was pretty dang good. I was impressed. I was like happy with myself. I served it here. I took a picture of it.
Okay, here we go. Did you tag me in that? I think you tagged me.
I didn't post it. I couldn't post it because it's a vegan looking thing. I want people to.
man.
Yeah, I was like,
you
come
gotta
on.
respect it all, man. That's good.
And I made that. Look at that. Not bad, huh? Those are some sort of weird chips. I don't know.
Like beet chips.
Yeah, I made it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna post this on Facebook for tell
go full
people
veggie.
know I made
Yeah,
my
there
wife
you
something
go.
to eat.
Oh, nice.
It's
not bad.
Nice. No, that's
It was
good.
actually pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks
It
good.
wasn't real
It's
meat.
funny. I just got a request to do Top Chef as a judge,
Nice.
but not here. In Lebanon, in Beirut, in the air. Hold on a second. I'm not kidding you. I promise. I'll show you. I promise.
This is
you.
awesome.
So I agreed to do it because for
That's
me,
cool.
Well, I hate
That is kind of cool.
I'm not,
though.
you know, like there's sure the travel advisory in Canada is don't go there, but I hate the idea that I can't go somewhere. It really
They also
irks me.
don't tell us to go to Mexico.
You know, like nobody's gonna tell us not to go.
Yeah.
Hold on
I
a
love
second.
Mexico.
I can't even remember. Anyway, my point is that
That's awesome.
that you know there should be no shame in food. There should
Yeah.
be no shame in the outdoors world. The most important thing is that it brings families together in ways
Amen.
and allows them to enjoy things. I can tell you right now that it has changed our DNA. If you where's the camera? If you haven't done it before, I'm telling you right now, it will not only reshape the way that you see the world, but it changes you in a way that you never expected. It's the most beautiful, uncontrolled thing that you'll ever experience. I love it.
It doesn't just change what you do, or it literally changes your personality.
Yeah.
Like before we started this hunting, I was the person where, like, if somebody had told me, like, oh, I can't believe those hunters killing deer, I would have been like, I would have went along with it, like, oh yeah, that's horrible. You know?
Just suck in the
like,
sack.
and just
I
like
know.
going with
Absolutely.
it,
Yeah.
and you know, total. But
Why
now
I can
it's
go get a half a lamb from Costco.
right.
They do look tasty. They do look tasty. I gotta admit.
But it transforms the way you think. It is a way of life, and what it does to you, like, you know, 2-3 years ago, you guys know the show Vikings?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
love
like
that show.
shaved the sides of my head, slicked back.
awesome.
And then he
You know,
tried to do me, and I
instead
ended
of
up.
this
I
type
didn't
of
look
beard,
as good
I had
on
like,
me.
I had like the GQ beard, right? And then you go and take your hunting course, and now I'm eating squirrels. I'm building chicken coops on the weekend.
No. I looked after grandkids, and I'm like, okay, what are you guys gonna do? It's like 2 nights, right? Like really romantic stuff, right? What are you guys doing? Oh, we're gonna build a chicken coop.
Hey, that's a damn good look.
Oh yeah, it's a good looking chicken coop. I have to
I saw
admit,
this
it's a
on
good looking.
I saw this on Instagram today. I'm not gonna. You can see it, but I'm not gonna. I don't want you to say who posted it, but I thought that was interesting.
That's different. That's different.
Don't show that to the camera, but it's
No.
another hunter posted it. But I just thought that was very
Burger in a bowl?
simplified.
Burger.
Yep.
and bowl.
Very simplified, which
Yep.
isn't bad. Whatever for you know. But I just thought it was funny. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I need to do that hunt camp.
Well, the thing that I love is those things on Facebook. You see, you're scrolling along, and it's just like the cutting board
Yeah.
and the hands in the bowl, and it's
Yes.
like, add 10 pounds of
Yes.
melted
Yeah.
marshmallow
Yeah.
and some
It's
chocolate
pretty good.
chips, and you have a delicious
Taking a
meal.
picture. Oh yeah, chicken coop.
Isn't it? It's
Proof.
It's, in a way,
it's a
so
good
funny
looking.
that those
This is
videos though are addicting in a way. Like
This
you watch
right?
them, you're like,
It's like, why?
and I don't know. It's like watching Canadian bowling. Sorry,
Yep.
but it is like you turn it
cool.
on.
Are you talking about
turn it
curling?
on, or curling?
Are you
Yeah,
talking about curling?
Yeah, all that too.
Canadian
Canadian
bowling.
bowling's with
It's
the,
like
you got
pool.
the 5 pins, right? The
Yeah.
5 pins and the small handball. I don't know what you call.
Oh,
it,
I don't
honestly.
go along with that either.
We,
I went
well,
bowling
we
the other
flip. We
night,
get
it's
one
like-
Canadian channel, so you flip it through, and all of a sudden you're like,
You
"Oh,
get a
that's
lot 'cause it's
interesting," and all of a
called
sudden
hockey.
three hours go by. You're like, "Where the hell did they go?"
Yeah, exactly. Well, every time we turn on the TV, we often see a lot of American football games. We think it's Canadian football, but then we realize no, the fields are shorter and the balls are
smaller.
And then we
One more
know.
down. Oh, and they're like,
Then
four
we know
down.
it's
We're
the
like,
NFL. There we
We're
go.
like, oh, that's too many downs.
That's too many downs. They should be out by now. I don't get it.
I am outnumbered here, so I'll bow out on that.
Okay.
All right, so good guacamole recipe.
Good guacamole.
I can't get guacamole down for anything. I've tried it like 3 times.
So-
It ends up
My
coming out like
favorite.
baby
The
food.
most
I can't do
important
it.
thing with guacamole is that everybody's seen avocado oil. So you know the avocado has lots of fat in it. So you have to balance the fat with the acid. So your palate picks up, your tongue picks up immediately on sweetness, astringency, bitterness, and that fat. So when you put the avocado in your mouth, it fills your palate. So if you want something that's going to pop, you have to have enough acid, and that's going to come from the lime. So you got and not just a big mistake people make. They'll put the juice in there, so you get the acidity, but it has no fragrance. So you need the zest. So the lemon zest or the lime zest, the lime juice, and then you're going to put in whatever heat you want and make it. And the other thing is, a lot of people will really puree it, and for me, I like a little bit of texture. So if I take one half of it and kind of puree it, and chop up the other fine, fold it together so it doesn't crush, and then when you're tasting, it's like, oh man, it's got some. It doesn't feel like baby food.
You get a big bite of flavor.
So the guacamole itself, when you cut it and you open it, and you have, I'm asking this because I actually am curious. So you have the green, but if it's dark green, is that still edible or no?
It's
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm talking about, where it's a little darker?
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. So my wife, her friend.
Wait for it. Go.
My wife had this guacamole at her friend. She's like, this guacamole is amazing. I'm like, really? What is it? She gave me the recipe, which I'll tell you in a second. And I'm like, oh, she goes, can you make it? I'm like, sure. So what it is I took 2 guacamoles. I put them in a dish bowl. I took an onion, cut like, I don't know, no specific amount. I just cut a piece of onion up, diced it real small. Tomato, and then the kicker, Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
It's good.
It's amazing. I just had it twice, 2 days in a row. My wife's like, "This is amazing." We're just like,
but if you had it your way, first of all, if you come here for a competition,
we're going to.
Dave will pick you hands down if you just make something a little bit spicy with some jalapenos.
Is that right?
If there's jalapenos in your money,
yeah, he's
I'm
all over.
spice
Like
fanatic.
he'll do Mexican food probably.
I'm not the best judge.
8 days out of the
Kevin would be a
week.
good judge because but he's going to probably be a part of it.
Might be good.
No, John could be a cook too. John's a pretty good cook.
Yeah, we need.
He's not a chef.
I can eat.
And then we need.
But hold on,
Judge.
looks.
I mean, I can judge.
You're Bobby Flay. You're the Bobby Flay of both.
There we go.
Tim's the judge, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No, but looks you count too. So you're gonna have like your looks.
Yeah,
This,
the
I wasn't- it'd be
plating.
cool if
The
it looks
plating.
like that.
That's
You got a
right.
presentation grade, and then you have an actual taste.
Well, I can do it hot off my trip to Beirut, Lebanon, and judging Top Chef there.
There you
And
go.
I'll come back with a
How if you do that? How long do you go for? Like,
It'll just be 4 or 5 days.
Oh, that's not
in
too
and
bad.
out. Yeah, no.
they
It'd be
pay you for that?
interesting,
You get
like-
paid for that?
They'll give me inconvenience pay. So they'll
So you get
cover
like a
all
per diem
expenses
type
and a
thing,
little
yeah.
bit. Yeah, exactly. But
I'm
I mean,
coming too.
Yeah, he's coming too. He's going to be my security.
You need more than you.
You're SOL.
See the price?
He's gonna need a couple.
What happened to him? He got thrown in the caravan. He's gone.
That's why I'm coming to protect him.
Exactly.
Especially if you're bringing that camera.
You definitely have the look.
No.
No one,
But doesn't
everyone
it make
messes
you mad?
with me. Clean face.
For me, I'll tell you one thing I got to tell you. So this actually, before it was the Outdoor Chef, it was Fearless.
Yep.
So this is where we began, Fearless Outdoors. And so we were going to keep them separate, long story short. But I sat there, we went camping, and I sat there petrified.
Yep.
Like an idiot, worried about black bear, sleeping.
Hold on. You need to stop there and let me tell the story.
Tell it quick, because we got...
And I'll give you the statistic first, okay? So in black bear, since the early 1900s, take a guess as to how many people in Ontario have been killed by a black bear.
Oh, God, I would say 1 to 10.
8.
Yeah, I was gonna say it can't be much.
You're okay.
Okay.
You're safe.
So we're on a fishing trip. Fishing trip, not a hunting trip. Fishing trip. Okay. We're in
provincial park.
We're in a provincial park, Algonquin Park. Okay. Last time someone saw a black bear was like 100 years ago. So we're
in that part of Algonquin.
There was bear scat outside the cabin. Okay?
Yeah.
I think there was a cow.
It was a cow or something like that. We're in a cabin. We're in a cabin. We just finished a nice dinner of fish. They put all the fish remnants underneath my bed. So if the bear comes in, he's coming to one place. We set a game plan. We're going to the rafters. Not that that's ever going to do anything.
Cabin.
This guy falls asleep. He's got his boots on,
We got a hatchet.
machete in one hand, Knife in the other hand,
Knows a hat.
mace ready to go. And he's literally did not sleep. He's ready to jump out the door, stab him with the machete, knife him, and mace him.
So
indoors. So we have a word. And
Yeah, closed cabin.
we were in a log cabin.
Locked up.
He's like, they could break down the door.
So we
They're
have
coming in the
we have
door,
a word,
man.
We have a word for this now.
Hilarious.
I was a idiot. I did not have a clue.
Yep.
So, but what really burned me
I love that story.
was
should
was
film
this
that.
idea that I was going to be afraid of anything. It really burned me.
The only thing to
And
fear
so-
is fear itself, is what we started saying.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
got
so,
it.
so this is where we end up
That's
where we're
awesome.
sitting today. And I'll tell you right now, there is not a place that I'm not going to go. There's
Yep.
not a there's
Thing
not
you're
a
not gonna
subject
do.
matter
Yep.
I'm not going to do. I don't care if I have to dive or fly or climb or whatever it's
When
going
we
to be.
go back to Florida, we're going to spear hunt hogs.
We're going to spear hunt hogs.
when we go back.
Yeah.
Blowgun. Could do a blowgun.
Exactly.
That's
We just
I don't
got
know,
one in.
man. Those
Challenge
hogs, I've seen
accepted.
a lot of.
I've never seen that before. People blow gun.
I mean,
No,
But,
no, no. I'm
but-
talking spear. I'm
They
talking
have a
spear.
broadhead on it though, a little head. We
Oh.
got. We
Oh,
have
you're talking about those blow.
Yeah.
Cole
we
still
fill
sent
hot
us
air
one,
for
and
sure.
so the goal is to shoot Tim in the butt with that, and it's real long. And then Jamie was shooting the little broadheads out of it. They gave us a ton of them. I don't know what we're gonna kill with this squirrel or something. But actually, I'll probably wait till you guys come and we'll shoot a squirrel with it and we can eat
Nice.
Okay, good.
I gotta
But-
say, but
that. It was like,
the scariest moment I had was on a hog hunt
Yeah.
where I mean, first of all, they don't like to go.
I've
down.
never seen an animal like that in my life.
And
Hogs are weird, man. I've
when,
seen 'em
when
get shot
you, and
5,
they're,
6
they're,
times.
they're
still
not
haven't.
alone.
The will
normally,
to live in
usually
them
they're
is
in groups,
in
right? So
there.
you piss off one, you piss off all of them.
Yes.
Yep.
And if they choose you as a target,
Yep.
there's not
You're
much
toast.
you can do.
You gotta climb. You gotta climb.
Well, see, I was hunting mine. I took a 250-pound boar when we were down in Florida.
Oh, man.
And I was hunting with my Bowtech Realm. That's him there.
Oh wow!
And I buried that broadhead
So
in
we
his spine.
we still have the
Holy
spine,
cow.
and that
Oh
that
man.
wasp
I think
broadhead
it's mean.
Yeah.
buried in his
buried
spine.
in his spine.
Dirtiest looking broadhead you've
Kept
ever
running.
seen.
Kept running.
Kept running.
Yeah.
And he needed a whole second one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's happened to
I've
us a
seen
couple
that.
times.
I've shot one pig 4 times. I hit a couple bad spots, a couple bad shots, no joke there. But a couple good shots, a couple bad shots, arrow sticking all out of this thing, running. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Get up to it, shoot twice on 9mm, doesn't go down. Still running.
In
I'm
the
like,
head. Like,
what? No, well, I don't think I hit it directly in the brain, but
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think we
Was
cornered
this like
it.
was this like the bear, or like was this a was this a big hog?
Real sized?
Pretty big. Pig.
So
Pretty
I'll
big
give
hog.
him credit on this one.
Yeah.
The
On this
the
one.
the
See,
one
we had to
he's- yeah,
emphasize
this one was a big one.
It's
Yeah.
really weird
Yeah.
though. I've
It
shot a lot
was.
of pigs, and like one I shot right in the main area, and they went right down.
Yeah.
10 yards
Yeah.
dumped, done, just like a deer. I'm like, wow, okay. Next one I shot, it's like, well, first
Completely
off,
different.
some people don't realize that males have a shield that goes along the side.
Oh, do they
That's what-
ever?
that's
And
what I
that
hit.
shield,
Yep.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. The one guy, a few years ago, I was filming like a 10-yard shot, which might have not helped in the situation, but 10 yards using this broadhead, I'm not going to name it. It hits this pig, no joke. The arrow slaps the pig.
Is that
Really?
right?
Hit that shield, and the thing went.
Oh.
I'm like, what? And he's like, what? I'm like, I think we're done. I don't know where this is going to go, dude.
I don't
But
want-
that weapon is
I
not going to
do
pull
not,
the.
Yeah, I do not want to.
That was a long time
That's
ago, but
something
man.
that I've had actually a bad experience with just from the food side of things. Is I've had really good hogs and I've had really bad hogs.
Yep.
Tim
So,
gets weird
Good,
situations.
but a good point. So,
Yep.
what we were challenged with right away is we have this old boar, and we want to do a ham. And so I did the ham the way I would do a ham. It's not the
It
same.
was tough.
That ham, it tasted okay, but texture, that needed to be braised.
I mean-
that needed to be braised hard. So this is one of the things that, and keep in mind, although we have the application ability to understand and how to react to different things, in this case, we were testing it, and sure enough, there's no way. So my advice is, like, we had some great little pigs, 150 pounds. No problem.
Yep.
But you get up, like, first of all, they're running through the woods or the jungle in the case down there. They're fighting each other. They are tough as nails.
Yep.
And don't even try the skin. No, that's not even worth having a conversation. But you have to treat each thing differently. And so then all of a sudden, talking about the cookbook, the cookbook becomes very difficult because we can just do, like, I've seen where you just kind of put a recipe in.
Yeah.
But when it's wild to table, you have to make some assumptions.
Yep.
You have to say to people, okay, you're going to do this ham. If it's going to be a young a hog or a hog under this weight, then you're going to treat it this way. But if you've got a 450-pound heifer that you've taken down, it has to be addressed differently, and you might not want to do this recipe. So it becomes very complex.
Good point.
Why we've kind of like thought about it, and that's why we haven't released a cookbook yet. Because like even last year, we did 52 recipes last year, all like most of them live, and like so you could release a cookbook out of that. But what he was just saying is like it's so specialized, to give people the proper tools to cook things like really well. It's that type of thing. We want to include those techniques in there.
Which is where the lives come in are a great thing, because it's kind of like a virtual cookbook where like, hey, you want to learn? Here's the story of the hunt. Here's what we did. Here's what the animal was, and here's the recipe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
The best part about all this, and it's just my opinion, but making a living aside and all that is like one of the things I love the most about being in this industry and doing this stuff. Not is the people you meet and all this stuff, but
you guys are okay.
You shut your mouth. It's the memories and keeping it logged. Like all those hunts, like I show you, I was talking to you guys about hunting, and all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, you know what? Let me pull it up. Boom. And you can actually show and you can see the the fear mites or whatever, right? It's just cool that you have that log. And this is the same concept. Even though you're doing the show part, you still have this book, and then the book eventually will have a lot of the same stuff. You're going to have memory. It's almost like you're creating a memory book anyway.
You are absolutely.
And it's amazing because it's like, hey, you know what? At the same time, let's have some fun and do the show or do this and that. That's how we've treated BowhunterPlanet. It's like, because we're filming all our hunts for a long time. We still are. It's just that we try not to make a big of a deal out of the hunts because let's face it, right? You got cameras, there's Canons, these really high-end cameras doing these awesome hunts and all this. And for us, it's not been our forte compared to what we do out here and what we're doing here. But that's us, so we still self-film. But
to do this right, it's full time.
Oh,
that's the thing.
You have to.
Everything. It's great to be. The saying. People think the saying is, jack of all trades, master of none. But that's actually not it. The saying is jack of all trades, master of one. So it's great to be able to apply yourself to different things. But this forum right here, this is your thing. This is the thing. Your voice and what the message you're bringing across, and that's it. Takes you got to be focused to do a great job of it.
That's one thing I know is people. It's interesting in the industry for anybody because people who are not in the industry, they always like, I want to do that. I wish I could do that. It's like, dude. It's hard work, it doesn't just happen. Like you don't just all of a sudden have a podcast or have a show and just start cooking and know how to be a chef, right? Don't get me wrong. Do it. Take that pride.
If you have that passion, absolutely.
But do it from the beginning and go all the way to the, do the whole thing.
There's a learning process.
It's like anything.
You can't just jump in. You know how many times we've been in this studio and rewired this thing.
I've been here 4 days in a row this week just getting this stuff ready because things stop working. Like today we had a camera go out and usually it's all three. Now one's not working and the next day
there's always something.
I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, it's not working. And I was waiting for Tim to get here, and we got a couple new cameras today I'm going to show you guys before you leave.
Okay.
But just playing around with some things, I'm like, it's time to start testing some new things. Because like we said, you have to stay relevant. You got to have the right stuff.
You actually have to stay ahead of it. You have to. We're thinking right now. So as we continue to apply the lives and continue to really, it's as much developing our delivery as it is going along with the technology. It's also where are we going to be 12 months from now?
We have that conversation a couple times a week of what are we doing next?
What's our next step? You guys got to do. You guys are doing the same thing. I think that we are is when you stay focused on the content, when the passion to deliver something to the viewers is more important to you than anything, then the medium and how you do it can change. But as long as the old saying, content is king, that is never going to change. It doesn't matter. You're telling stories here, like we just watched your podcast, just rolling in here, that last one, and that we were captivated, and that is something that is that's difficult to do. And for us, storytelling wild to table, that's something we're still in flux. We're still in that. We're still in that.
Well, sure, but I mean, telling the story is one thing, but doing it on video and telling that story with
editing,
I mean,
that's
that
so hard.
That is so, and it is. And I grew up in it, right? I mean,
that's a good point.
I grew up in the video industry. That's what my dad does. That's what he does full time. And but still to this day, it's an artwork. I look at him not as a professional. He's an artist.
He's an artist.
But his dad. When we started this, we went to his dad to ask questions of us. His dad had to stay relevant too. That was the thing.
Absolutely.
His cameras kept changing from the
shifting.
tape to no tape. So we bought one
he
with the
started
tape.
back when you had to have a backpack.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a
it's
camcorder
crazy.
back in 1980. You had a camcorder
believe
in the
me,
corner and a backpack for your recorder.
Those cameras were not cheap, man. Our first camera we bought here was like $2,200, and they had the 8mm tape, and we were all excited about it because that was when his dad had. No joke, like a year later, they were all digital.
They all went digital.
And we're like, what the heck? And we had to sell it. And
we're refreshing every 12 to 18 months.
You have to.
Well, that's what I was telling
Dave's more like 3 to 4.
I'm ahead of that for him.
So if you ever need any gear, just give us a call.
Just to show you how quick it changes, I went to school for 3 months, and I just came back for this trip. And inside that 3 months, these guys have to catch me up. The amount of things that changed, I came in like a child. I didn't know what was going on, how the things worked.
even the products, right? For you're talking about Excalibur, and I mean, all of a sudden they got the new Assassin. It's got all these great things. You got to understand it all. It's not you can just go out there and shoot it. You got to know what's going on. If you're going to talk the game, you got to know what the hell you're talking about.
Especially if you're going to deliver to your viewers, how to properly use it, all those things, right? Like
we spent hours just figuring out everything and laying it out, and you still have problems, but that's normal. You run into things like, oh, did I do that right or did I do it wrong? And the worst thing is when you do something wrong and you don't know it. Like one time we had this thing. It was called the Fall Guy. It was absolutely amazing product. It's gone now, but what it was is a seatbelt. Okay, just imagine a seatbelt retractor.
Yeah,
you put it at the top of your tree.
Yeah,
you bring it down with a rope, connect it to your harness, and go up.
Yeah.
So if you fall, locks you in. It's at the top of your tree.
Yeah.
So the first trip up, you don't need it. But what happened was Kevin did the video, hooked it up, brought it down, and he tied it off at the bottom. And you're not supposed to do that because it puts tension on the spring and it keeps it loaded instead of let go. You have the rope go back up and then you pull it down. Well, people are trashing us online. I'm like, really? This is a long time ago. And I'm like, are these people right? And finally we figured it out. I'm like, oh, they're right. I deleted the video. It's gone. That's not right. But unfortunately, that company went out of business. But that was a cool product. I mean, it was a very safe concept. And now they have other ones now, but it's a rope and you got to, it's not as simple. This was hands-free going up. It retracted as you went. And then it's like a seatbelt. It was awesome.
But you can't be, the one thing I can tell you, because I get to, you got nobody's grandfather here, right?
Nope.
He looks like one with that.
So I get to do the I get to do the grandfather thing. The number one thing, and this goes for hunting and in the kitchen. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Do not. True. If you are afraid to make a mistake, you will stop enjoying, you will stop exploring, you will stop experiencing what's going on. And I mean that's the way I raise my kids. And if you watch any of our stuff, you'll see I am not afraid to make mistakes.
Well, that's here in the BowhunterPlanet studios. We encourage mistakes.
Oh yeah, we'll show you
they make some of the best moments for everybody else.
When I look back on it, though, that was my biggest thing was that fear to do the video where I'm the person, like the camera seeing me. Yeah. And it wasn't because I was worried about like doing it. I was worried about what my friends think, what would people in my job think, what would people think when they get offended. And then I said, you know what, F it.
Yep.
I'm me, and I'm going to do my thing. I don't care what you think of me. And I'm just going to do my thing. And to be honest, it worked out great. Yes. People see me now, they're like, oh, what's going on in the bow hunting world? And what's, it's interesting. People don't even hunt. They're like, oh, man. And I have a friend who's a marketer, and he's amazing, but he doesn't do outdoors. He does, like, big business marketing. Yeah. He's always got ideas. He's like, you guys should do this. You guys should do that. I'm talking about Jim. But he's like, you guys should do this. I'm like, come over, show me. Well, I don't know. I'm willing to
talk. Do I get a free?
Let's sit down and I'll pay you if I can figure. You tell me what to do. Right? I don't. I mean, there's always new things. But all right, John, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a ton of fun, man.
You're awesome. And
thanks, man.
Check it out. Check them out online. The OutdoorsChef.com, and you can see them live on all sorts of places. Especially, I believe you guys will be on Excalibur's website, probably your own Facebook, their Facebook, probably our Facebook. So just definitely check out. Make sure you tune in and follow, subscribe, and check out their YouTube because it is absolutely amazing seeing that kind of fresh food. It's
have a full stomach.
It's going to make you very hungry. And then we'll have them back on again later. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later. All right. Awesome.